All right, guys. I like to kind of relate shooting to things we do, day-to-day activity or things we might have learned growing up. And one of the activities that's probably closest related to shooting a shotgun is hitting or catching a baseball. Now, everybody was probably taught to hit or catch when they were a little kid. Now, what's the first thing your mom or your dad or your coach taught you about hitting a baseball? Keep your eye on the ball. All right. What I want you guys to remember, it's similar to baseball in the fact that keeping your eye on the ball is a big part of baseball, or a big part of hitting the ball. It's probably something we kind of forget because there's all these other things we got to do. We got to get the bat in position. We got to get our hands to the ball. We got to get our stance right. But keeping our eye on the ball is the most important thing about hitting a baseball. Keeping our eye on the target is the most important thing about shooting sporting clays, and it's a little more difficult than it sounds. Okay, just look at the target. All right, no problem. Well, we still got to get the gun in the right position, and I'm going to be teaching you guys a lot of things today about how to stand, how to hold the gun, getting the gun to a certain position on the target and being able to keep it and moving with it. Now the key is we've got to learn all these other things, but still keep our eye on the target. So if that's the only thing you learn from this entire video, you're a better shooter for it. You have to make a conscious effort to keep your eye on the target every time, every single time. That's the most important part about shooting. So I want you guys to remember that. You're going to hear me say it about 3,000 times today. Keep your eye on the target. We understand that vision is one of the most important things. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. Do you see better closing an eye, or do you see better with both eyes open?
Both eyes open.
Both eyes open. I mean, it's pretty obvious. If you were trying to hit a baseball or drive a car or catch a football or do any of that, if you close an eye, you're handicapping yourself a little bit. Well, the same thing happens when we're shooting a shotgun. If we close an eye, we're just cutting our vision in half. So we're losing our ability to have good, solid, hard focus on the target. Now, at the same time, if we've got both eyes open, it can be a little confusing in terms of where the gun is pointing. So we're gonna kind of roll into eye dominance and how it plays a factor. But basically, eye dominance only matters when we're trying to line two objects up with both eyes open. Now, there's not a lot of day-to-day activity where we're actually out there trying to do that. Shooting a shotgun is one of the very few. Now, eye dominance also isn't as simple as left or right. The eyes basically work together. It's a combination of two. So what we're going to do, we're going to start out by doing a little eye dominance test, and we're going to check to see which side's your dominant side, if we've got any issues there, and see if we can figure out how to get all you guys shooting with both eyes open.